Good evening. We'll begin our meeting with the prayer and pledge of allegiance, led by Councilor Lewis.
Good evening. I've invited Reverend Leroy Lewis Jr. to lead us in prayer, Associate Pastor of Mount Perrin Missionary Baptist Church. Dad?
Every head bowed. Heavenly Father, our God and our Master, we're so thankful for this another glorious day. We praise you, Lord, for allowing us to come to this room to hash out our differences and to lead our community today and into the future. Oh, Lord God, bless us with your presence. Allow your Holy Spirit to touch each member of the council and to bless those who come to the assembly. Guide us, protect us, and get the glory out of everything that we say and do. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Dad.
Councilors, please select your green button to indicate your attendance. All right, there are 25 councilors present. Chairman Oliver, I believe you had a point you wanted to make.
President, call for special privilege.
Please.
I stand, Mr. President, in honor and recognizing all those that served our city, particularly Officer Lee, who died in the performing her duty, as well as all other officers at IMPD that have given their service to that great community. Can we have a moment of silence, please, sir, with all standing? Thank you very much. Officer Lee was a courageous woman, a mother, and she put it all on the line to protect and serve. For this, special recognition from all of us to her family, and her son. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman Oliver. I'd like to also add on to that, as we remember victims of gun violence, to use this as an opportunity to remember that today is the 54th anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. We have no guests this evening who are already not part of the agenda, so we will proceed to the next item on our agenda, which is official communications. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, you are hereby notified that regular meetings of the City County Council and Police, Fire, and Solid Waste Collection Special Service District Councils will be heard in the City County Building in the Council Chambers on Monday, April 4th, 2022 at 7 o'clock p.m. The purposes of such meetings being to conduct any and all business that may properly come before regular meetings of the councils. Sincerely, Bob Osley, President, City County Council. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the laws of the state of Indiana, are caused to be published in the Court and Commercial Record and the Indianapolis Star on Friday, March 11, 2022, a copy of a notice of public hearing on proposal numbers 87 and 88, 2022. Said hearing to be held on Monday, April 4th, 2022 at 7 o'clock p.m. in the Public Assembly Room of the City County Building. Respectfully, Sarita Hughes, Clerk of the City County Council. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the laws of the state of Indiana, are caused to be published in the Court and Commercial Record and in the Indianapolis Star on Friday, March 18th, 2022, A copy of notice of public hearing on proposal numbers 85, 86, and 91, 2022, set hearing to be held on Monday, April 4th, 2022, at 7 o'clock p.m. in the Public Assembly Room of the City County Building. Respectfully, Sarita Hughes, Clerk of the City County Council. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the laws of the state of Indiana, a cause to be published in the Court and Commercial Record and in the Indianapolis Star on Friday, March 25th, 2022, a copy of a notice of public hearing on proposal numbers 87 and 88, 2022, set hearing to be held on Monday, April 4th, 2022, at 7 o'clock p.m. in the Public Assembly Room of the City County Building, and a copy of a notice of public hearing on proposal number 92, 2022, said hearing to be held at a meeting of the Metropolitan and Economic Development Committee on Monday, April 11th at 5:30 p.m. in the Public Assembly Room of the City County Building. Respectfully, Sarita Hughes, Clerk of the City County Council. Ladies and gentlemen, I have approved with my signature and delivered this day to the Clerk of the City County Council, Sarita Hughes, the following ordinances: Fiscal Ordinance Numbers 1 and 2, Special Ordinance Numbers 1 and 2, General Resolutions Numbers 3 through 7, Special Resolution Numbers 8 through 10. Joseph H. Hogsett, Mayor. Mr. President, this concludes the official communications.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The next item on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. I believe, Councilor Adamson, you have a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually have two motions. First, I would move to amend the agenda to advance proposal number 139, 2022, currently under introduction of proposals, to the first item of business under special orders final adoption for action this evening. This is a time-sensitive approval to opt back into the state-conducted settlement of pending opioid legislation, and I so move.
Motion has been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Nay? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I have the second motion here. I move to amend the agenda to advance proposals number 137 and 138, 2022, currently under introduction of proposals, to the first items of business under special orders priority business for action this evening. While loading zone establishments are similar to rezoning ordinances as they are certified to the council by the Board of Public Works, they do require roll call vote for ratification. I therefore move that proposals number 137 and 138, 2022 be placed under special orders priority business for this action this evening, and I so move.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. All right, proposal number 139, 2022 will therefore be placed on the agenda for action as the first items under special orders final adoption, and proposal numbers 137 and 138, 2022 will therefore be placed on the agenda for action as the first items under special orders priority business. The next item on our agenda is approval of journals for March the 7th, 2022. Do I have consent? The next item on our agenda is presentation of petitions, memorials, and special resolutions. And this first item is proposal number 140. I stand corrected, my colleagues. We must adopt our agenda as amended. Do I have consent?
Consent.
Very good. All right, proposal number 140 agrees to support and provide resources necessary for the City of Indianapolis to host the National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA, Final Four Women's Basketball Championship.
Thank you, Mr. President. With consent, we would like to do proposals number 140 and, what's the other one? 141 together.
Consent.
Thank you so much. Proposal, City County Council Resolution number 12, proposal for a special resolution agreeing to support and provide resources necessary for the City of Indianapolis to host the National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA, Final Four Men's Basketball Tournament and Women's Basketball Championship. Whereas the consolidated City of Indianapolis, Marion County, City of Indianapolis is a city respected for its strong strong sports environment and identity. I can't speak now.
Thank you, Madam Leader. Whereas the image of this sports city has helped identify the city of Indianapolis as a progressive city, has been a key factor in recruiting businesses to the area, as well as offering more alternatives for recreation and employment and enjoyment to its residents and visitors. And whereas the national headquarters of the NCAA is located in the city of Indianapolis, and whereas colleges and universities in the city of Indianapolis and the rest of the state of Indiana have long and successful histories playing basketball, and whereas where'd you leave off at here? I can't see that. I left off at the basketball. Right there.
It's okay, they didn't go to Shortridge.
And whereas the city of Indianapolis is desirous of hosting the NCAA men's and women's basketball final, first round, second round, regional, and Final Four games between 2027 and 2031. And whereas
the men's and women's Final Four offers an opportunity to work collaboratively with the NCAA to create positive experiences for student athletes, participant institutions, fans, and community. And whereas
the men and women's Final Four serves as an economic force that can accelerate the development and or improvement of local infrastructure, enhance community pride, and generate millions of dollars in economic impact. And
whereas the city of Indianapolis is the ideal location for the NCAA men's Final Four because its downtown provides a unique and hospitable environment and destination for teams and visitors. And whereas the NCAA has requested a declaration of support from the city of Indianapolis and certain guarantees concerning the performance of reasonably necessary governmental services in connection with the NCAA men's Final Four. And whereas it is fitting and proper that the council will be enthusiastically poised to responsibly and effectively consider the needs and requests of the NCAA for planning the men's Final Four if the bid is awarded to the city of Indianapolis. Now, therefore,
be it resolved by the City County Council of the City of Indianapolis and Marion County, Indiana, Section 1, the City of Indianapolis welcomes the NCAA men's and women Final Four to its jurisdiction and to the end declares its full support of the efforts to have the City of Indianapolis selected as the site for the NCAA men's and women Final Four between 2027 and 2031. Section 2, the mayor is invited to join in this resolution by affixing his signature hereto, which he has done. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect upon adoption and compliance with IC 36-3-4-14. This special resolution was sponsored by Councilor Lewis, Maurer, and Robinson. Mr. President, I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Other comments from councilors? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Nay. All right, motion carries. Back to the speakers.
Thank you. Ms. Melissa, would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Just on behalf of the Indiana Sports Corp, the Visit Indy, the Horizon League, and IUPUI, we just want to thank you for your support, especially last year, and then we will host again in 2026, and they are clearly working ahead, so we are bidding on 27 through 31. So thank you all for your support, and yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The next item on our agenda is proposal number 50, referred to Metropolitan and Economic Development Committee. Chairwoman Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal number 50 appoints Brad V. to the Greater Virginia Avenue Corridor Economic Improvement District. Mr. V, because I cannot pronounce his last name properly, stated that one of the reasons that he wants to serve on the board is because they have 85 to 100 employees within the district, and he is happy to serve and find ways to continue attracting talent to the work within his corridor. The proposal passed out of committee by a vote of 9-0. Mr. President, I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to the board for our vote. Motion carries 25 to 0. The next item on our agenda is Proposal 90, referred to Metropolitan Economic Development Committee. Chairwoman Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal number 90 appoints Nick Baxter to the Greater Virginia Avenue Corridor Economic Improvement District Board. Mr. Baxter stated that he owns two 100-year-old buildings and operates the Dugout Bar on Virginia Avenue. He added that he is interested in preserving the neighborhood's historical aspects and realized that serving on the board would be in his best interest. The proposal passed out of the committee by a vote of 9 to 0. Mr. President, I so move.
The motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25 to 0. The next item on our agenda is Proposal 80, referred to Parks and Recreation Committee. Chairman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, proposal number 80 appoints Yesenia Tostido to the Indianapolis Greenway Committee with a due pass vote of 7 to 0. I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? Seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25 to 0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 124, referred to Parks and Recreation Committee. Chairman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal number 124, wish to reappoint T. Carter Simpson to the Indianapolis Greenway Development Committee by a vote of 7 to 0. I so move, Mr. President.
The motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? Seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25 to 0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 84, referred to Administration and Finance Committee. Chairman Mascari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal 84 approves the mayor's appointment of John Cross as a hearing officer to preside over the administration adjudication of parking citations. This passed out of committee 10-0. I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? Seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25 to 0. The next item on our agenda is Proposal 118, referred to Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. Chairman Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal 118, 2021, reconfirms the Marion County Public Defender Board's nomination of Robert J. Hill as the Chief Marion County Public Defender. Councilor Mascari moves, seconded by Councilor Graves, to send Proposal 118 to the full council with the due pass recommendation. The motion carried by a vote of 10-0 to 1, with Councilor Boots abstaining. Mr. President, I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? Councilor Boots.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to repeat my need to abstain from this vote as well. Thank you.
Very good. Noted. Thank you. If there are no any additional comments from councilors, let's proceed to the board for our vote. Motion carries 24 yeas and 1 abstention. The next item on our agenda is introduction of proposals. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal numbers 123, 126, and 127 referred to the Administration and Finance Committee. Proposal number 123, introduced by Councilor Osley, appoints Terry Morris to the Information Technology Board. Proposal number 126, introduced by Councilor Osley, appoints Whitley Yates to the Equal Opportunity Advisory Board. Proposal number 127, introduced by Councilors Mascari and Ane, approves an additional appropriation of $50,000 in the 2022 budget of the Marion County Auditor Marion County General Fund, increasing the public purpose grant to the Marion County Fair Board for additional capital improvements needed to the fairground facilities. Proposal numbers 128 through 131 refer to the Metropolitan and Economic Development Committee. Proposal number 128, introduced by Councilor Osley, appoints Craig Mintz to the City Market Corporation Board of Directors. Proposal number 129, introduced by Councilor Osley, appoints Barato Britt to the Board of Business and Neighborhood Services. Proposal number 130, introduced by Councilor Adamson, amends Chapter 741 of the Consolidated Zoning and Subdivision Ordinance concerning stormwater management to comply with NPDES permit. Proposal number 131, introduced by Councilor Osley, approves the issuance of developer-backed TIF bonds for Indy Propco LLC in a maximum aggregate principal amount not to exceed $9,200,000 for the proposed Moto Hotel project within the proposed King Cole Economic Development Allocation Area, consisting of the acquisition, renovation, and rehabilitation of the vacant approximately 47,000 square foot King Cole building at 1 North Meridian Street for reuse as a 116-unit hotel, multiple full-service restaurants, and bars, and other amenities including public art. Proposal numbers 132 through 134 refer to the Parks and Recreation Committee. Proposal number 132, introduced by Councilor Oliver, reappoints Larry Bates to the Board of Parks and Recreation. Proposal number 133, introduced by Councilor Oliver, reappoints Joseph Wins to the Board of Parks and Recreation. Proposal number 134, introduced by Councilor Osley, reappoints Lori Kaplan to the Indianapolis Greenways Development Committee. Proposal numbers 135 and 136 refer to the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee and were introduced by Councilor Osley. Proposal number 135 appoints Fred Purvine to the Emergency Services Agency Board. Proposal number 136 appoints Patrice Abdullah to the Citizens Police Complaint Board. Proposal numbers 137 through 139 refer to the Committee of the Whole and were introduced by Councilor Osley. Proposal number 137 ratifies a loading zone on Ohio Street near Meridian Street established by the Board of Public Works. Proposal number 138 ratifies the loading zone on Norwood Street near Virginia Avenue established by the Board of Public Works. Proposal number 139 exercises the city's authority to opt back in to the state-conducted settlement of pending opioid litigation. Proposal number 157, introduced by Councilors Osley, Lewis, and Adamson, referred to the Rules and Public Policy Committee, amends Chapter 152 of the Revised Code concerning council district boundaries. Proposal numbers 159 through 164 refer to the Public Works Committee. Proposal number 159, introduced by Councilor Lewis, authorizes speed limit reduction to 25 miles per hour in the Falcons Nest subdivision in District 10. Proposal number 160, introduced by Councilor Jay Evans, authorizes a speed limit reduction to 25 miles per hour in the Arbor Woods subdivision in District 22. Proposal number 161, introduced by Councilor Jay Evans, authorizes a speed limit reduction of 25 miles per hour in the Shadowwood and Victoria Woods subdivisions in District 22. Proposal number 162, introduced by Councilor Jones, authorizes a speed limit reduction to 25 miles per hour in the Woodlawn Gardens subdivision in District 16. Proposal number 163, introduced by Councilor Ane, authorizes a speed limit reduction of 25 miles per hour in the Brentwood Hills and Rose Manor subdivisions in District 23. Proposal number 164, introduced by Councilor Ane, authorizes speed limit reduction to 25 miles per hour in the Craigwood subdivision in District 23. Mr. President, this concludes the introductions.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The next item on our agenda is special orders priority business. Earlier this evening, under the adoption of the agenda, a motion was made to move proposal numbers 137 and 138, 2022, to the first items of business under priority business. Do I have consent to vote on these proposals together? Proposal number 137 ratifies a loading zone on Ohio Street near Meridian Street established by the Board of Public Works. And proposal number 138 ratifies a loading zone on Norwood Street near Virginia Avenue established by the Board of Public Works. If there are any questions from fellow councilors regarding these proposals, Nathan Sheets from the Department of Public Works is available to answer those. Councilor Adamson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just curious, where on Ohio and Meridian is the loading zone?
Let us get clarification.
Good evening, Nathan Sheets, Department of Public Works. So proposal number 1, actually it was resolution 1, 2022. This establishes a loading zone on Ohio just west of Meridian Street. So it's on the north side of Ohio, west of Meridian. Actually used to be an Indigo bus stop that's no longer used. That area is currently signed no parking, and so there is no loss of parking meters upon establishment of this loading zone.
May I follow up?
Please.
Is this a lane of traffic currently? I mean, people are using this for a lane, because I go east and west on Ohio quite a bit.
So people do tend to use it as a lane of traffic. However, due to the proximity of the signal, we've got some parking restrictions that we still intend on keeping as you get closer to Illinois, because that basically acts as a right turn lane in order to make a north onto Illinois. So we don't believe the establishment of the loading zone at this particular location will result in any traffic delays or anything like that.
How far west on Ohio is it?
So there's a hydrant right on the corner. It starts just past the hydrant. There's an existing ordinance that prohibits parking within 12 feet of a hydrant, and so it will start 12 feet west of the hydrant and extend 80 feet to the west. So that's about four parking spots.
Okay, so mostly near Meridian then?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Very good. Additional questions from councilors? Seeing none, if there are no further questions, I will entertain a motion to ratify proposal numbers 137 and 138, 2022.
So moved.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. We'll proceed now to the board for our vote. Motion carries 25-0. Proposal numbers 145 through 156, 2022 are all rezonings that were certified to the Council for approval by the Metropolitan Development Commission in March 2022. If no councilor wishes to call down any of the proposals for reconsideration, they will pass into law. Does anyone wish to call down any of the proposals for reconsideration? Seeing none, proposal numbers 143 through 156 will now pass into law. The next item on our agenda is special orders public hearing. Before we open to the floor to public comments, I would like to call on General Counsel Kim to review the ground rules for public testimony as adopted by this body. Ms. Kim.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before we open the floor to public comments, we would like to remind council members and the public of a few ground rules. So everyone can have a fair chance to speak and be heard, it is important that we each observe the following rules. First, each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Second, any public comments must reasonably relate to the agenda item under consideration. Third, speakers who stray from the item under consideration or become unduly repetitious may be asked to move on to their next point or conclude their comments. Finally, attendees who cause disruptions that prevent the council from proceeding through tonight's agenda in a reasonably efficient manner will be removed. Please remember that some types of threatening speech or incitement to violence are not protected by the First Amendment at all. We will deal with those issues if they come up, but we don't think they will. And now, Mr. President, if a council member asks for consent to adopt these rules, we can proceed to public comments at the appropriate time.
Very good. Thank you, Council Kim. The next item on the agenda is proposal number 85, referred to Administration and Finance Committee. Chairman Mascari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal 85 approves an appropriation of transfers $86,784,620 from various city-county funds used by various city-county departments, agencies, transferring $71,856,000 of existing appropriations of, pardon me? Existing start over here. No, hang on. Among characters appropriating $14,928,620 of federal and local grant awards not previously appropriated, and ratifies the transfer between departments of the federal grant funds for the purpose of COVID-19 emergency response. This passed out of committee 10-0. I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Comments from councilors? Councilor Ethan Evans.
Thank you, President. Is there anyone from these specific departments with the transfer that could clarify their specific use going forward?
Mr. President, if there's no one here from the administration, I'd be happy to try to address the question.
Please, go ahead.
Councilor Evans, I believe.
Good afternoon, Councilor. Lucas Anderson with OFM. If you can speak directly to which transfer in particular, I can do my best to answer on behalf of the departments if I'm able.
Well, the $14,928,620 appropriation.
The significant portion of that transfer is in relation to Section 10 under City Non-Departmental, moving federal stimulus COVID funds, specifically ARPA, from Character 3 to Character 4, and that is a realignment of funds pertaining to public works and parks and recreation projects, allowing for them to expense out of the correct character and category of funding.
Was there any list for the specific projects involved in that at the time?
If I can apologies. If I can remember specifically, it is relating to the funding that is being provided towards playground equipment enhancements, as well as all funding for stormwater infrastructure.
And that you said that was coming from the ARP, the ARPA funds?
Yes, this is completely a transfer, net neutral, moving from Character 3 to Character 4.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. President, if I may, just one supplemental note.
Yes, please.
During the presentation in committee, it was noted that these are all still the same programmatic dollars. These are all the same programs that we voted on, that this body voted on, I should say, back last fall. There's no change in any of the programs. It's just simply a reflection of the accounting necessary to make sure that the dollars are in the appropriate character to be spent down. So there have been no changes to the plan that was approved by this body last fall. This is just an accounting exercise.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. I just was asked, just clarify, because I wasn't at that particular meeting. So thank
Good. Additional comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, is there anyone in the room who would like to comment on proposal number 85?
Mr. President, it's Larry Vaughn, please. You know, I'm looking at this situation, and we have a lot of transfers going on of federal money and COVID money, which came to this city because of people who had problems with COVID. I would just like to say that I heard you earlier in the resolution mention a situation where we're supporting sports teams and so forth. Well, I just don't want this COVID money to get caught up in that direction. And we rely on our sports teams and so forth for the income and also for the sales tax dollars that may be brought to Indianapolis. And we rely on those fundings. But there's a Senate Bill 361, who has made its way through General Assembly this year, where they can take income tax and sales tax and transfer them to other TIF areas, not in this city, maybe in South Bend or Terre Haute or some other armpit city, that they take our tax dollars, transfer that money to another city to improve their plight. And I just wonder if we're not overstepping and kind of misusing this COVID money. I know I've heard a rumor that $120 million has already been spent on the big game we had here last year. So I'm just concerned if we're doing a sustainable thing here tonight when we're transferring this money. And certainly, since it's based on COVID and a death count, we should be more careful the way that we administer this money. I just would like to be more careful, Mr. President.
Very good. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to comment on Proposal 85? All right, seeing no one. Additional comments from councilors? If not, let us proceed to the board for our vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 86. Refer to Administration and Finance Committee. Chairman Mascari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal 86 approves an additional appropriation of $650,000 in the 2022 budget of the Information Services Fund to finance unforeseen additional costs to implementation of an enterprise-wide phone system upgrade. This passed out of committee 11-0. I so move.
The motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, is there anyone in the room who would like to comment on Proposal 86?
Mr. President, since this is about the finances of this city, are very important, I would just like to go back and ask, did we ever get a definition of what an emergency COVID response team was, and did anybody give a definition or clarify? Because to the proposal, I step back and take a little retrospect, and I look back and I see that all this money that was appropriated through the grants and through COVID money was appropriated for, as it was appropriated the last time this came up, for the emergency COVID response team. I would like to get an explanation of that, and I'll go ahead and leave the room. If I could get an explanation of what that team consists of, and somebody could give me a written definition of how they exist, how they spend their money, and when the money comes, where the money comes from. I'd really like somebody to explain that tonight. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to comment on Proposal 86? All right, seeing no one. Additional comments from councilors? Seeing none, let's proceed to the board for our vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 87, referred to Administration and Finance Committee. Chairman Mascari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal 87 reestablishes a cumulative capital development fund for Indianapolis Consolidated City pursuant Indiana Code 36-9-15.5. It all passed out of committee 11-0. I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors?
President.
Chairman Gray.
Mr. President, this City Community Capital Development Fund, is this not the fund that we eliminated at the beginning of Mayor Hotsett's term?
I'd like someone to come forward to address Chairman Gray's question.
Good evening, Councilor. Lucas Anderson with OFM again. I apologize sincerely. That action predated my tenure with the city, and I would not know specifically. It may relate to the Capital Asset Development and Lifecycle Fund, which was recodified by this council in May of 2021, and is separate from the City Cumulative Capital Development Fund, which is a property tax levying fund.
Okay.
Very good. All right. Additional questions from councilors? All right, seeing none, is there anyone in the room with an interest or would like to make a comment on Proposal 87?
If the County Cumulative Capital Development Fund was extinguished, then what was the balance at the time that it was extinguished? Can anybody tell us about that? And why, in a time when we're getting all this funding for, because of COVID, that we create all these new funding mechanisms and we get rid of some of them, but really, I think I was here when they done away with this first cumulative fund, Mr. President, and they did not mention what balance was there or how the balance was reappropriated. Maybe it's being reappropriated tonight, I don't know, but I just think that those are some questions. Maybe they were asked in caucus or asked in a committee meeting, but I think that those ought to be something that the people at home want to see when they actually extinguish a fund like this, and somebody needs to walk through the process of what they do with those fund balances and how they are reappropriated. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the room who would like to comment on Proposal number 87?
Mr. President, I might offer a clarifying remark if it's useful.
Please.
So to be clear, on both proposals 87 and 88, we as a council body and as the local government for Marion County have the option of establishing these funds and those rates therefore ourselves, or it's a function that then falls to the state. And so both of these proposals are allowing this body to exercise your oversight of what that fund is and what that rate is, and we're reestablishing the rate from last year, meaning no increase. So that is the question before you with both proposals 87 and 88. Is this is a question of local jurisdiction, or else we will allow the state to do that for us.
Good. Thank you, Mr. CFO. Additional comments or questions from councilors? All right, seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. The motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 88, referred to Administration and Finance Committee. Chairman Mascari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal 88 reestablished the city's cumulative capital development fund for Marion County in pursuant of Indiana Code 36-9-14.5. This all passed through committee 11-0. I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, is there anyone in the room who would like to speak to or make a comment on proposal number 88?
Just one more. One last thing is what I came down here to find out tonight is whether or not there's any limitation on so-called COVID funding. If anybody could say whether or not there's any kind of holdbacks or any kind of things we can't do with COVID money once they reach some fund that's been set up or reach the general fund, then they can be spent as any way you want to spend it when they're really appropriated for the hundreds of thousands of people who are out there in their businesses who have actually suffered from COVID by having their businesses shut down and having their homes foreclosed on, and the money's being steered away from them. I feel like that, and it's been moved away from that destination where it should really be, because there's a lot of suffering, a lot of closed businesses, a lot of people who have lost their livelihoods because of so-called COVID. And I think the penalty for this council is to appropriate those funds correctly and make sure that they get through to the people who really need them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Very good, thank you. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to comment on proposal number 88? All right, seeing no additional comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, let's go to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 91, referred to Metropolitan Economic Development Committee. Chairwoman Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal number 91 approves additional appropriations totaling $5,540,000 in a 2022 budget of the Department of Metropolitan Development Funds and the federal grant funds to finance contractual services, land acquisition, and grant eligibility personnel costs. Presentation was made making the following key points. DMD is requesting an appropriation of $2,740,000 for projects including the acquisition of Oak Tree Apartments and a new home for the Indy Black Firefighters Association, funding for the Red Line North Meridian Street corridor for affordable housing, expansion of the Sherman Park site. DMD used to own a property at Central State site. DMD would like to purchase the property back for additional redevelopment. The proposal passed out of committee by a vote of 8-0 to 1. Chairman Robinson abstaining. Mr. President, I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? Chairman Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be abstaining again for proposal 91, similar to I did in committee.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing none, is there anyone in the room who would like to comment on proposal number 91? All right, seeing no one, if there are no additional comments from council members, let us proceed to the board for a vote. Councilor Jackson. Motion carries 24 yeas and 1 abstention. There is no business under special orders unfinished business, so we will now proceed to special orders final adoption. Earlier this evening, under the adoption of the agenda, a motion was made to move proposal number 139, 2022, to the first item of business under final adoption. Proposal number 139 exercises the city's authority to opt back in to state-conducted settlement of pending opioid litigation. If there are any questions regarding this proposal, Corporation Counsel Ann O'Connor is available to answer those. Are there questions from fellow councilors? If there are no questions, I will entertain a motion regarding proposal number 139, 2022. Very good. The motion has been properly moved and seconded. Let us now proceed to the board for our vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 89, referred to Administration and Finance Committee. Chairman Mascari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal 89 authorizes city controller to take necessary steps to allow for matching contribution to be made by the city county to accounts of all city county employees who participate in the Indiana Deferred Compensation Plan. This passed out of committee 11-0. I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 103, referred to Administration and Finance Committee. Chairman Mascari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal 103 authorizes the city controller to make changes to salary classifications scheduled governing the city and county employees to allow for premium pays in order to recruit and retain staff in critical functions. This passed out of committee 11-0. I so move.
The motion has been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, let us proceed to the board for our vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 93, referred to Metropolitan and Economic Development Committee. Chairwoman Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal number 93 approves a statement of benefit for Archimed LLC, an applicant of tax abatement for property located in an economic revitalization area. A PowerPoint presentation was made making the key points. Founded in 2011, headquartered in Indianapolis, manufactures innovative, sophisticated case tray systems for orthopedic and surgical industries. Capital investment of $13,560,000 in new manufacturing and IT equipment over the next 5 years. They plan to hire 35 new jobs with an average of $31.52 an hour, and the goal of retaining 74 full-time jobs with an average wage of $27.11. The project is in Councilor Baines' district. He spoke in support of the proposal, stating that it is essential to retain the company in Indianapolis. The proposal passed out of committee by a vote of 9-0. Mr. President, I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 94, referred to Metropolitan Economic Development Committee. Chairwoman Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal number 94 approves a statement of benefits of City Mark Management Company, Inc. and 96th Street Developers, LLC, an applicant for tax abatement for property located in an economic revitalization area. A PowerPoint presentation was made making the following key points. City Mark and 96th Street Developers, LLC is a real estate investment and development firm founded in 1982 and headquarters here in our great city. The site has been vacant for 5 years, and the total for acquisition for the site is $14 million. Total development and investment, not including the land and building purchase, is $17,919. The company will spend $55,000 on workforce development. Councilor Dan Booth was present and is in favor of the proposal, and he too believes that this proposal is essential for the growth in his district. The proposal passed out of committee by a vote of 9-0. Mr. President, I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? Seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 96, referred to Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. Chairman Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal number 96, 2022, approves certain public purpose grants totaling $180,000 from the Drug Free Community Fund. Michelangelo McClendon, Executive Director of the Drug Free Marion County, stated that these funds support preventing youth from overdoses and helping reduce risk and accessibility. Councilor Muscari moved, seconded by Councilor Graves, to send proposal number 96 to the full council. The due pass recommendation. Motion carried by a vote of 11-0. Mr. President, I so move.
The motion has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, let's proceed to the board for our vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on the agenda is proposal number 97, referred to Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. Chairman Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal number 97, 2022, determines the need for the IMPD Department to lease approximately 44,734 square feet of office space at 4140 North Keystone Avenue. Councilor Colino offered the following amendment, a motion to amend proposal number 97. The amendment passed by a vote of 11-0. Deputy Chief Valerie Cunningham, Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, stated that IMPD is looking to lease another approximate 28,231 square feet of office space at the same location. Deputy Cunningham stated that this idea, vision, is to have all investigative divisions all together. She said that this expansion will be operated within their current budget. Councilor Carlino moved, seconded by Councilor Muscari, to send proposal 97 to the full council as amended. The motion carried by a vote of 11-0. Mr. President, I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? Seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on the agenda is proposal number 98, referred to Public Works Committee. Chairman Adamson.
Thank you, Mr. President. With consent, I'd like to take proposals number 98, 99, 100, and 101 together. Thank you. Proposal number 98 authorizes no turn on red restrictions at Westfield Boulevard and YMCA Access Drive in District 2. Proposal number 98 authorizes no turn on red restrictions at Arsenal Avenue and Michigan Street in District 17. Proposal number 100 authorizes no turn on red restrictions at Michigan Street and East Street in District 17. Proposal number 101 authorizes no turn on red restrictions at Massachusetts Avenue and Valley Avenue in District 17. Councilor McCormick moves, seconded by Councilor Jones, to send proposals number 98 through 101 to the full council with a due pass recommendation, and that motion carried by a vote of 9-0, and I so move.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? All right, seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25-0. The next item on our agenda is proposal number 102, referred to Public Works Committee. Chairman Adamson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proposal number 102, 2022 amends the various sections of the code concerning drainage and stormwater management with technical corrections and updates as required by regulations of the Environmental Protection Agency and the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. Robert Fry, counsel for DPW, stated that council staff had found a technical error in the second paragraph of section 1 of the proposal under section 111-5. He said that the word speedway should be replaced with the word Southport in the following paragraph, which is noted in the minutes there. Councilor Boots moved by seconded by Councilor McCormick to amend proposal number 102 as presented by Mr. Fry. That motion carried by a vote of 10-0. There being no further testimony, Councilor McCormick moved, seconded by Councilor Boots, to send proposal number 102 to the full council with a due pass as amended recommendation. That motion carried by a vote of 10-0, and I so move.
The motion has been properly moved and seconded. Are there comments from councilors? Seeing none, let's proceed to the board for a vote. Motion carries 25-0. There is no business under Special Service District Councils, and there is no business under new business. So the next item on our agenda is announcements and adjournment. The docketed agenda for this meeting of council having been completed, the chair will now entertain motions for adjournment.
Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Councilor Mowry.
Mr. President, I have been asked to offer the following motion for adjournment by Councilor Barth in memory of Michael Weaver, by Councilor Lewis in memory of Alice Wills, by Councilor Osley in memory of Michael Naylor. Mr. President, I would like to move the adjournment of this meeting of the Indianapolis City County Council in recognition of and the respect for the life and contributions of those persons I have here specifically named. I respectfully ask the support of fellow councilors. I further request that the motion be made part of the permanent records of this body and that a letter bearing the council's seal and the signature of the president be sent to the family of each person advising of this action.
Thank you, Councilor Mowry. Hearing no objections, the motion is received and the request is so ordered. Hearing no further motions, we are adjourned. Thank you.